I'm expected to be sitting there.
Yep.
He asked me 4 times last night.
All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. The only amendment to our agenda is on the jail inspection. Original date was the wrong date. It's been corrected.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. All right, indigent.
Yes, Chantel Laulu with Indigent Services. The first case that we have for you this morning is case number 2022-0014. It does appear that this applicant meets all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. The total estimated charges is $25,000. The applicant is unable to make the 5-year payment and has committed to a $100 a month repayment plan upon approval of this application.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve case number 2022-0014.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
The next case that we have for you is case number
Yes.
20.
I voted in my head.
2022-0015. Our recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 313506, obligated county. The applicant appears to be a resident of Power County, therefore Bannock County is not the obligated county for this request. And then case number 2022-0026. Recommendation is a denial of this application for cremation expenses through through Wilkes Colonial Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200 pursuant to Idaho Code 313403. The county is not the last resource. The deceased appears to have the resources available to cover the expenses requested at the time of their death, which is to be considered a resource before the county. So Bannock County does not appear to be the last resource for that request.
Mr. Chair, on case 202-2015 and 202-2026, I make a motion that we deny these cases as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I like it when you tell us that another county is responsible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nikki? Please introduce yourself.
My name's Nikki Betts. I'm the extension educator. I work for the University of Idaho, and I do 4-H for this county. So I have money that is budgeted for a part-time temporary person that I can hire throughout the year, I guess, and then usually it's been hired in the summer, but our outreach into schools has been bigger than what I need somebody for during the summer, and so I'd like to hire this person during the school year instead, and just because we're reaching more youth that way, and we have a lot more going on. So
what would you do in the summer if you're out of budget money and you need somebody in the summer?
our office would be able to handle it during the summer. I just feel like their time would be better spent coming into the schools and teaching than having them during the summer. We do a lot of day camps during the summer, but that's nothing that we're not used to doing anyway. We usually have to teach with them during summer, because they're learning so many different things. This would be coming into the schools. We teach robotics at 4 different schools in Pocatello right now for the 21st Century Grant, and then we also do outreach in school with robotics, and so we'd be able to, I guess, train them in robotics, and they could go out and teach in the classroom, and we'd be able to reach more youth that way, and hopefully get them involved in 4-H also. But I think their time would be better spent in the schools helping us with that than during the summer. And just learning fair is kind of like trying to toss them into the wall, like just throw a fire hose at them, trying to learn what's going on at fair. So
I'm okay with something like this as long as you understand that when fair time comes, that if we burn the budget, then there's no more.
I
funds.
completely understand.
As long as you're you're good with that, and you're understanding that.
I do, and the last few years I've been putting in place, I have volunteers that have become supervisors over different species, And so my time at fair, fair's been running a lot smoother, and so I feel like pulling this person into doing after school is a lot better time spent and with outreach, so.
And like I said,
There's two things that we need to do. This will be a Bannock County employee, so HR needs to be involved in this process.
Yeah.
And then,
Next year, we'll probably need to remove that money and put it in the ag budget instead of the 4-H budget.
well, it would have to stay in the 4-H budget because it's a 4-H program. And under state law.
The robotics is?
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
4-H
Okay.
program.
Okay.
I didn't know that, like, I totally didn't know that until I found out that that is actually a 4-H program.
but we need to talk with Christie and see what the dollars are, and so that the start date and the end dates are very clear
Yes.
of what monies we have and what's
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. I mean, that,
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to, if that's where it's gonna get moved to.
It's
So-
$3,400, so it'll have to be less than 5 months.
Yeah,
Just like
and that's how I had it budgeted out, was the same way we do for the summer, it's just during the school year. And so, I have no issue with that, I just would like to hire them a different time of the year, so.
with
The only
our,
reason I had you come before the commission was because it was gonna be a deviation from past, so these guys just needed to.
no, I
Okay.
want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We want to hear about it, thank you.
yeah, that's fine,
Honestly.
I'm fine with whatever
Mr.
you
Chairman,
guys
what
want
I'd
to
say
do.
is go ahead and let's get a memo then of where funds are coming from and get it put together, and we can do it for Thursday then.
The money's already budgeted,
Okay.
it's
We-
already in here.
So I would say
She's
just an HR review or,
Well, yeah, it'd be an HR review and then something official of saying that the money is going to be used for this, just a memorandum of record, something or.
The position is
It's already-
exact.
it's already-
Everything's
the same,
the same.
everything's the
Okay,
same,
so
it's
we're
just
not
different
crossing
time of
any
year.
line
Nope,
items at all.
it's just
Okay.
the only thing that's changing is it won't be
Just the date.
working from like June to
Okay.
August.
Yeah.
It'll be January or
January,
whatever to,
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the clarification that I'd like, and HR will help you with that.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Idaho Ag Extension 4-H request to hire part-time employee for the school year instead of for the summer.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have you gotten your PhD yet?
I have got 2 years left,
Oh.
but I did get
I was-
promoted.
I was just, I am good. I was just
Yeah.
checking because last time we were starting, I was like, I don't know if
Yeah.
you're a doctor yet. We
Not
should be
quite
addressing
yet.
you as such.
2 years.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
All right, next item on our agenda is the Bannock County Commissioners Quarterly Jail Inspection Report.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the report as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we've already signed that, so now it's on the record. Shanda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shanda Crystal, Purchasing and Economic Analyst, and I've also brought with me Hal Jensen, and Planning Director, and Daniel Kendall, Special Projects Manager. Excellent.
Wow.
Remembering titles are tough.
No, that was loud. The wind didn't
The
miss
wind
it.
out there.
I was like, whoa. I'm waiting for a tree branch to come through the window here.
Our lights are on the other side now.
We just want to decorate everywhere.
We decorated the gas station.
No problem. So we are before the board today to request an architectural drawing of museum roof and the jail roof projects as we move forward with those RFPs. When we met as a pre-bid meeting on the museum roof, there were a lot of questions and concerns, and throughout that discussion that Daniel was a part of, we didn't have Hal there. But then as we got talking afterwards, there was enough in order to be able to compare, right, apples to apples, which is what bidding is supposed to be doing. In order to make that clarification, we feel that we need to hire an architect to clarify those things for us. But I have brought, right, subject matter experts that know a ton more than I do.
I think part of the discussion I had with Dan and Jeff yesterday is what the design was to what the actual build out was. It sounds like it changed. It sounded like there was a gable roof added. It wasn't on the plans. What was it? It was 3/4 inch fiberboard that was supposed to be decked with, and they didn't deck it. They just basically barn roofed it.
There's a lot of changes from the original blueprint and some pretty big concerns about condensation because we don't have any fiberboard or SB or anything on that deck.
Well, I talked to some people last night, some subject matter experts that I like to run some things by, and the main thing was that the roof probably is just, that standing seam where it clips, that it can actually just pull and tear down the seam, and it's probably beat and leaking. But then if there's not a cold space with a cold roof on that top, because insulation's packed all the way to the top, you'll never get any airflow
Right.
to do anything with it, no matter how many vents and things we punch in. So
There's some problems, and I think just to avoid the liability of it at all, we should probably have somebody take a look at it and help us out.
Hal, I'm sure you probably know some individuals that can be put on the list to send out, see if they'd be willing to take a look at it.
You bet.
I mean, I think that, yeah, we probably need to, like Dan said, once Dan and Jeff said that the as-build and the design were not the same, we probably should have, we need to have somebody look at it just to understand what the liability is on it. The other thing too is depending upon how they insulated it. If we open that up, the insulation might not be to code now because they used to pinch it,
Right.
and now you can't do that.
So funds for this, we have funds for, this will just be included in our funds for the roof.
So we could do that. Past anything that has done to build the bid, posting the newspaper, things like that, have always come out of the commissioner's budget. We do have a professional services line that we could utilize.
This is going to
We
get expensive real quick.
What's
This
your
is-
estimated cost on the roof, on the museum roof?
Probably about 150 grand.
That was assuming
Yeah, that it was-
we had a deck.
That was, or that, and they could still go back and do the barn roof design that they've done. It's a clipping system is probably is what some people were betting, and they could go back and do that, but they have to ensure that you have that cold space. And if that's not done correctly, and how, but still, we got to have some people understand. So I mean, you're talking probably 5 to 15 grand in
10% of the construction budget, plus or
Yep.
minus, probably around 15 grand,
yeah.
15 to 18.
So because this is going to be such a more detailed project than just.
Rip the roof off and put it on.
Yeah. We could add the architect costs to the cost of the roof because it's a legitimate.
That's what we're saying. That yeah.
So I would take that up here where we're going to pay for the roof. The only problem is we're going to have to spread this project probably over 2 years
Yeah.
potentially because we've only got 130 budgeted.
Yeah. Well, and that was the whole thing is when we were looking at just a simple
Unless-
tear off relay, that's a lot different than if we have to redeck it or if there's insulation issues or
Actually, we might be fine because the other money we have in PILT is for, that's where we threw all of our potential ARPA projects. So we could
move some stuff that way.
borrow from Peter to pay Paul if we can make some of those
Well,
projects.
And
from
the other
pull out
thing
of that
is,
grant.
if we can get an engineer and stuff, and they'll have some structural guys probably going to take a look at it, and depending upon what it is, it might not be as bad as what we're thinking. I mean, we might just have to, it might just be a little bit different than how it's normally built.
Sure.
We would just have to look and see what it is, but I would feel more confident having some people look at it instead of just telling these guys to go, hey, because it's double layered to sheetrock, right?
Right.
So,
And the water's coming through it.
well, and that's the whole thing is, so the question would be is the water coming through the sheetrock or is the water leaking through and then it saturates the whole thing, then it recondensates down at the bottom?
I hope so.
Well, which, you know what I mean, is I hope it's the roof that's doing it, it's not the condensate inside because there's like one bathroom in there, isn't there? There's not like a kitchen or anything that could be generating the condensation.
No, just the bathroom.
Do they have a humidifier in there? One of the guys I was talking to last night asked it because some museums will use like a to control the
I haven't seen anything like that.
Bless you.
And
so that's why they were thinking they think that there's probably a pretty good hole somewhere, and then you're getting water in the insulation, and then it's getting trapped in there, and it'll recondensate somewhere down the.
it's an interesting design that they actually had some pictures of roof repair that they did previously. And the decking is actually fluted, so it has little holes in it. So if it does condensate, it's going to go right through those holes and into the building.
Well, I think our next step is the engineering.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have them funds come out of the project just because of the extent of
What's going to happen?
what's going to happen, and then we can figure out where we can
Why can't we just
bid the project and get the money from to finish the project. That's the way I feel.
Christine, do we need to move those monies, or do we just code it to the project directly?
I would say we'll just code it to the project because it'll be
Why can't we
capitalized.
just have a simple one?
We did only put the, right now the money's budgeted for building repair. It's gonna end up being a capital project, but there's only 2 things budgeted in PIL, and we know it's for the roof. So we should be
When that
fine.
comes in, I can get a code from you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And just to clarify, this is architectural work on both roofs, is what my request is.
Oh, you want for
As
the
we
sheriff's
have
office as
the-
well?
Yeah, as we
Yeah,
have the
it-
sheriff's office roof come down the pike as well.
I didn't realize that you had to have a separate membrane, or
So-
a different membrane.
So real quickly, in my conversations, I'm going to share with you from history of contracts with 3 different entities as a private practicing architect, state of Idaho, DBS for regional contract work, School District 25 and the LDS Church, everywhere from Seattle to Wyoming to you name it, we did it over the years. A project of that size and scope, you would be wide open for change orders. I mean, over and above. We don't know how the membrane is attached to the flashing or if the flashing caps the membrane. We don't know the location of any potential what's called a termination bar when they wrap it up the sidewalls. There's just so many issues with the jail that I don't think you would be doing any favors by not having a consultant on a project of that amount, dollar amount, as well as sophisticated as all of the cut-up roof. I spent the weekend going through the notes and looking at the original drawings, and I will share with you my recommendation from my perspective is get a consultant involved.
So you think it'd be best to go like RFQ for a consultant or just?
I would.
Okay.
The reason being is that I think the construction budget's 750, 800,000 plus or minus. And, you're going to be negotiating probably somewhere between a 6 and an 8% fee on
Yeah.
that construction budget.
Yeah.
And so I would find people that are very competent at having done past re-roof work.
Okay.
Okay?
But I think they ought to be 2 separate projects.
Yeah, they will.
They
be.
are. They are.
For sure. Yes, they're separate. Okay.
And
But yeah.
I came because of my other conversations from last week and the first part of this week at the request of Shanda and conversations with Dan about.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate your expertise, and like I always say, I don't want to put a new roof on it and go back and have lots of problems. We
Yeah.
want to do it the right way the first time.
Here we are.
Well, and you're dealing with what's called a TPO, a thermoplastic, and thermoplastics tend to age quicker than other roofing membranes because plastics tend to, even though they say they don't UV degrade, they do quicker than rubber membranes and what's referred to as an EPDM roof, et cetera. So there are issues, and you may find a consultant that comes back and says, you'll get better longevity out of your warranty and your lifespan by changing to this particular membrane, and these are the reasons why. And they can present that to you so that you can make an intelligent, informed decision on what goes back in place, rather than just saying, well, we have a TPO and we're going to put a TPO back. You may find there's better product. Okay? I will share with you that TPO is the least expensive, and that's why it went on the jail, is because that was the least expensive to put on and get it in budget.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
And the jail roof is budgeted out of the sheriff general fund
Yeah.
department, so Teresa can sign off on those.
Alright. Cool.
Okay, we have a direction? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna, yeah. We'll be writing some RFQ later. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Hal.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you,
Shannon.
Al.
The other item I have before the board today is a recommendation to award an informal bid that we went out for the sheriff's office to replace some flooring that they have out there in their administrative down their hallways. We approached 3 different companies here in town. Sorry, not here in town. One of them is out of
Preston?
Thank you. And the other 2 are here in town. 2 did respond back. The cheapest, the least expensive is the hatch flooring, and they came in at $52,876. And that's what the Sheriff's Office would like to recommend moving forward with this project.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the hatch flooring bid for $52,000 as indicated.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Come on up. Discussion regarding consolidating special projects and maintenance department action.
So we've had previous discussions concerning like a restructure, combining the departments, especially before Jeff retires. We're trying to make it a seamless transition. There might be some benefit to get this going before the new budget cycle starts up, so we can work together and maybe get this thing set up. And in the end, we'd like to become more efficient and beneficial to all the county buildings, more of a team effort. And that's kind of what we discussed in the past. Here for your input.
I forgot to print out the org chart that Jeff has there. You guys have looked at that. Any consternation or heartburn you guys have with that?
I think it's really close to
Yeah.
what would be.
Yeah, I have a good friend that worked for Twin Falls County, and they did the similar thing that we're looking at doing right now. And visiting with him, they did not include the jail as part of this, but yet because the jail is a whole different ball game of rules and regulations. And as Dan and I visited about that, be willing to go help out there when needed as far as electrical is concerned or any other kind of maintenance involved out there. In the past, I used to go out there and help Bill Johns when he was needing help, and I have not been out there very much at all since Bill John was out there. But him and I would work together pretty regularly on doing maintenance projects in that building. I know it takes a person, a special individual to go in there and work among that environment. And so, but we're more than willing to, as a maintenance team, to go out there and do anything that's needed to help with them out there, but probably leave them under that direction of the sheriff's department, as Dan and I had visited about that. So, and as I've looked at Twin Falls County and what they've done there, I do not know how Ada County operates under their maintenance program, whether that, I know Kootenai County had one umbrella of a maintenance department.
They have a maintenance unit. They have a guy they have some individuals that are specifically assigned to the jail, but they will use everybody to, like, if there's a project that comes up, all hands on deck will go out and tackle it.
Similar to what we want to look at here.
Or if there's like a project that's going on somewhere else in the county and one of those individuals, because I think they had a plumber and an electrician on staff, and I think the plumber was in their jail location and the electrician was not, and so, but they would use them. That's how they paid, because they actually had those skills then there, and they would use them as they could. But yeah, they had guys that were specifically every day show up at the jail, but when they started doing projects, hey, we're going to do the medical remodel or whatever, everybody would go all hands on deck, and that's what they would do then.
I think that's the efficient way to go.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'd be a lot more efficient than what we've done in the past. And at this time, we're in the process of taking under our umbrella of maintenance department is the cleaning of some of these other buildings, and so that's just coming online right now.
So if I understand you correctly, Jeff, real quick, you're suggesting that right now we have the maintenance manager, electrician, and a maintenance assistant, and then we would have the jail out there as that third, kind of right underneath that.
Pretty much, and then as a team, whole team, that we'd go out there and help and do everything.
Should we need that? Okay.
Like when projects come up with expertise as we've gained with bidding and all that, that we're probably in that process of acquiring those too. Dan's had a lot of experience with doing that over the last few years, so I think that would be beneficial for out there too, in that process of acquiring bids, informal and also formal, so.
Yeah. I think we need to have a discussion with the sheriff then, and some of the other discussion. The main thing is like I said, however the organizational structure is used is to break down the side of, hey, if they have a project, by all means, they need to be calling and saying, hey, this is what we're doing, let's go do this, or hey, it's too bad we don't have Brian anymore out there, because that was awesome having another electrician on staff, because that's one of those things that there were some nasty things that we ended up having to call electricians for, but if you could have some of it, how you could flex it and work it through.
Yeah, that was a big loss.
The biggest problem is
All we gotta do is call Jason and borrow something.
yeah.
The boss of that project.
But the big problem is it's getting harder and harder to find subs, because the projects are too small and the subs won't peel off, because they are working with your general so much they will not come, and that's what we found in the bathrooms.
Right.
So if we don't have them on staff for some of these smaller stuff, we're going to be paying through the nose, and we're going to be waiting.
That's a good point.
So I think we need to have that conversation with Tony and have some brainstorming and go through that.
Well, I have no problem going with your suggestion.
Yeah.
I'd have you work with Jeff and continue to put that out. And then is it one city? What's
City Works.
City
Yeah,
Works.
we're working with that.
City Works. I mean, I think this is the ideal time to
Yeah.
do this.
I was supposed to-
The transition kind of is, let's get stuff in City Works so that we have everything written down. I mean, we're not
And
kicking
we're
anybody
working-
out, but we want this knowledge that we have.
Yeah, we're working on that.
We wanna make sure we keep it.
Last week or week and a half ago, Dan and I went up on top of all the roofs and looked at the equipment on there and inspected the roofs, and so, I think that's a real benefit, and as I know in City Works and GIS, we're gonna be making that layer of, roof and attic and third floor, example and everything like that, so.
When I said it yesterday, it's one of those left seat, right seat things. If you can, Dan can watch Jeff drive for a while, and then when Dan's, we're getting to the point where, okay, Dan's pretty much got it, then Jeff can hang out and make sure that Dan don't wreck the car.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'd ask if you work with me on this too a little bit, especially if there might be changes to position descriptions or classification or anything like that. I'd like to
I'm
be
sure we'll be
involved.
updating.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Who reports to who and all, yeah, it kind of falls into my world a little bit, so.
This isn't going to take effect till next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just, as we're talking
Yeah,
about.
because, our budget process is gonna be coming up here in a few months, and what I have here in the process of making a budget for the building I have responsibility for, Dan has no idea, so. It's basically up here in my piles of paper, I go through, okay, here's what it looked like last year, and things like that, so.
Well, like I said, I think with City Works coming in right now and where we're at with it, this is
Yeah.
a great time to start combining, and we'll worry about monies
Yeah.
as we get further into it.
Right. Okay. We're gonna
You
move
try to get
forward.
along.
Oh, we get along great.
Well, I say to you next year, or whenever Jeff decides to pull the chute and go, we might want to have some consulting money set aside somewhere, because I'm sure there's going to be something where, do you remember where we put this thing?
We've been calling them for years and years.
Yeah.
Don't change your phone number.
I try to keep the old one, but they won't let me keep it.
All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoy you guys. Thank you very much.
Did you have any question on the exams?
Oh, the exams.
Yeah. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see it. Yeah, there wasn't anything that jumped out at me.
Okay. I didn't see anything. All right.
Okay.
Kyle?
I'll see you all later.
See ya.
Oh, okay.
Morning, Commissioners.
Kyle.
Kyle Burmester, Bannock County Public Works. I got a few things for you today to look at. First off, we have the state would like to donate a salt brine machine. It's got too small for their use now that they went completely salt, and they go through quite a bit of production of that. But it would work perfectly for what little bit, that we use it in certain areas, steep hills, different things like that. And to kind of start out smaller. We used to work with the city to get our brine. Now that the city has moved their location and is doing a lot more brine, they don't have enough capacity for us. I don't mind the brine. I'm a little more on, I'd like more salt in my sand, because that's when we put it out, that's when the storm's happening. A brine is really, you have to hit timing perfect. So if you put it on and it decides to not snow, like it's kind of doing right now, after so many days or the amount of traffic, it's gone. So you've just wasted that money. So I believe if it's used correctly, it does good. I don't like the idea of it going full into something like that, but.
Do you find more rusting with the brine, with your equipment or anything?
That's what I was kind of wondering. What's the impact of that on the roads and on your equipment?
Well, we have a truck that we use that we did in the past. So we have a selected truck, and it's all stainless steel, and it's kind of set up for that. So, I mean, we're set up for it. Salt's worse on vehicles and bridges, but apparently the state thinks it's the way to go. But
so what I get the feel is you think it's okay, but it's not something you want to use all the time. Is that?
Well, and see, this is a small enough little unit that we could utilize it if we want to. I think it'd be okay to have it, or if them conditions, like if you get icy conditions or something, that you might use it. I just figured this donation's good, because even if we don't use it, it's free, and you could.
Yeah, but why do we need it if we may not use it? To me, it sounds like my mother. She'll call us all the time and say, "Hey, I've got some clothes in my closet you may want. You want to come get them? Get this code for it. Hey, will you take these to the DI for me, because I can't do it." And so.
I think we would use it though.
Okay.
Because like I say, even when we were kind of trying to do it all with the city all winter, we don't use a real lot. Like they're going out, kind of, you'll see through the city streets now, and the state, they'll just spray everything. We were just using it in select areas that help out.
It's like having the right tool for the right job.
Yeah.
You don't use it every time. When you do need it, it's nice.
And it's a little better that if we decide that's something we like, then we'll see if we wanted to go into a bigger unit that we can do more with, or, we just need it once in a while.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Well, when I was with On, I used it on the parking lot and stuff up there. But I found when I stored it, that my tools started rusting.
Oh, yeah.
Just depends where I'm at. That's why I ask about it. If you're finding anything, you gotta make sure where it's at and that what's around it, because other things that I didn't anticipate rusting and stuff, I found it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the salt, like I say, I'm not a big supporter of the state going straight salt. I know they get a lot of tort claims on windows with the sand, and so that's why they've kind of moved away from it. But look at the Ingham Bridge on I-15 and different things like that. It's completely destroying a lot of the infrastructure. But so we're still like sand with a little
salt. Them diapers on the
salt.
bridges are holding it all together.
Oh yeah. Just don't look really close as you drive under it.
Every day, twice at least.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the state's donation of the salt brine machine.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next up, we have, we're getting pretty late on when we have with our cost share agreement with the state for grooming. One of the requirements is that we have an annual operations plan that we do with the Forest Service each year. So that is the first thing today is the annual operation plan. It's the exact same one we had last year, just with the date changed. I asked them if they had any problems with it last year. We didn't seem to have any problems. The only suggestion they said is that it states in there that there is reporting that they would like to see a little bit better. Like on a monthly, it's number 6, provide the Forest Service with a monthly report due the 30th of each month. They said they didn't see any reports.
Okay. My other question, as I was reading through this, is the county ends up being responsible for making sure that the paths are 16 feet wide, trimming, all that other stuff. I know that the snow grooming board and their snowmobile groups go do that. Do we as a county go in and groom trails?
For like the trees and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I know in winter time our groomer watches that stuff. I don't know about the summer.
They usually
part
go
of
in
it.
the fall and groom some themselves, but actually in this it says that it's our responsibility to do all that stuff.
Year round, or
Well, that's what I take it. It says, well, perform routine winter maintenance. Grooming.
so I think that this one's more stating while we're grooming, we have to keep them trails cleared. The groomer has to make
So
sure.
number 4 right there. Identify grooming routes and during the summer, work during the summer or fall months to meet Forest Service brushing standards. I mean,
Yeah,
all them trails, it says that we are actually responsible to go. We don't do any of it right now, right?
no.
But I know that.
I know there's
members of the
groups that
grooming
go in
board-
and do certain stuff, but in the summer wise,
Yeah.
but we haven't.
Well, that's just something we'll watch. I mean, this is the same one that we've signed in the past, but if they get particular and we get new people in there,
Well, I was just kind of curious how this agreement kind of corresponded with the email from Kim Oberle the other day about maintenance and road maintenance. Do you remember reading that one?
So their thing right now is that we haven't gave them enough time and this is the way their thoughts on this are also is in the summer months, they'll do this kind of work because they already have a crew that does these trails all summer long. And that we kind of told them some issues that we had right at the last second
With the road maintenance.
with the road maintenance, and if they would have had some time throughout the summer, as you know, funding or crews to get them out there, they just didn't have enough time. So if that's something they would look at next summer doing.
and that letter was generated because of Cody Edmonds.
Right.
And he's gonna be put on as a member of that board this evening.
Yeah, they've asked if I come and to that tonight and that some of these questions could probably
Okay,
be looked at.
Alan will be there too.
Because there is quite a few different questions going on, which kind of goes with the next thing we'll look at. But, so alls I did for the operations, or the operating plan, is just keep it the same. We're supposed to have it done to them in this month, and so just to get that for this year. And then I think we really need to look at some of these before we come around to the next grooming season.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the operating plan as presented.
You have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Next part of, still on grooming, so the parking lots. So we got to hear kind of, and this is where my feelings are, we got to hear that, you know, don't drop stuff on us at the last second, like as in these trails that need fixed up a little in the summer. Well, on the parking lot cleaning, that kind of got dropped on us.
Last year.
Like, so we found a document that we have an MOU with Power County and Caribou National Forest, and unless anybody wants to terminate it or come to it with changes, that it's still works. I mean, we're still all agreeing to it. But like a week ago, they said, well, we don't, that's kind of old, and I don't know if the Forest Service wants to still go by that. It should be a newer, updated one. Maybe it should, but I don't have enough time to do all that before the end of the year. So would like to present this to you today for the collection agreement for the plowing. It is the same with the date changed as last year's that we did. And that maybe in the meeting tonight or something, so that we have it signed on our end that we're fine with it, and if they have problems with it, then that'll be on their side. And if they want, they could say we don't like that, so we would end up as a county having to plow them parking lots. It'd be worst case scenario.
So it's just one parking lot, isn't it?
Yeah, so they've said that.
Crystal, right?
Yeah, they said that if anything, they do the others, but they're still kind of on the fence on if this is a good enough MOU, the older one, to work out for them.
But you guys go up and plow Inman.
We turn around up there. So they plow Inman, the Crystal one that's in Power, and then the Mink Creek little turnoff area.
So all three of them.
So it's three.
The snowmobile groomers or?
No, Forest Service.
Forest Service, okay.
And we pay them out of that funds that we get from the state to clean them, $5,000 a year.
Okay.
It comes out of snowmobile fund.
Right.
And we're maintaining the 5,000 as the max.
So I'm just on the fact that, yes, some things could be told on both sides a little quicker and better communication, but to have this changed to a different form that they want to get with Power County and everybody in a week or two, it's just not gonna happen. I'd still like to be able to do that, because I don't want to pull our crews off of roadways. So I do like the fact that Forest Service cleans them, but I don't know.
Then we had problems with Bob using the cat to clean them.
Yes.
Was the problem last year. So I like the agreement. It puts it on to the Forest Service. My only question is, I thought we talked about this a little bit last year. 58.33 is what the charges were last year?
So they'll tell what that actually is, but they have a limit, correct?
This says 5,000. and last year
It's
should
a
be
limit,
5.
so we didn't pay them.
The 833?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just kind of showing where they're at with it, but we have that limit of,
And that's what I guess my question would be, is there,
I guess they're kind of doing true numbers so that if at some point we need to raise it or lower it.
Okay.
You want me to double check, we only paid 5,000?
yeah. Oh, and I thought we did. I thought we had that conversation.
I'm pretty sure we did too.
And,
Yeah.
and so, just as we're redoing it,
Yeah, because it does say shall not exceed, so. Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the collection agreement between Bannock County, the USDA Forest Service, and Caribou Targhee National Forest as presented.
we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Next, we have resolutions. First one is Resolution 2021-113, adopting ordinance number 2021-12, Amendment 2 to the 2021 Comprehensive Plan. And Resolution number 2021-114, adopting ordinance number 2021-13, Amendment 59 to zoning ordinance 1998-1, Resolution number 2021-115, authorization to dispose surplus asset property. Resolution number 2021-116, appointing members to board of Bannock County Snowmobile Grooming Board. Then we'll go into ordinances. Ordinance 2021-12, amendment number 2 to the 2021 Comprehensive Plan. And ordinance number 2021-13, amendment number 59 to zoning ordinance number 1998-1.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2021-113, 114, 115, and 116, and ordinance 2021-12 and number 13.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Okay. Need to go to Jason.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next we have letters and notices. First notice is the increase that we're going to put on the 911 system. We have tax cancellations. Do you want to come up? Do you have any comments? Welcome.
I'm just here if you have questions. I'm Anita Hymas, Chief Deputy Assessor. Forgot who I was, sorry.
It's good to see you. Did you have any questions? On any?
No.
I didn't either. I asked Commissioner Tovey before he left, and he said he didn't have any, so.
Good, that's good.
You're getting off easy today.
Next one is the Sheriff's Office Annual Forest Service Cooperation Law Enforcement Agreement.
Thanks, Anita.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Then we have the primetime auction agreement. Donated transfer, the ambulance. Okay. social media policy. Do you have any questions on it? Any comments?
Nope, I made those changes that we discussed last week.
Okay. I think that is the end of letters and notices.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the letters and notices as presented.
Motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Next, we have a consent agenda. Certificate of residency. You checked into this?
I did.
And so there is a statute with a deadline ending.
There's hard deadlines. All it says in there basically is that if they file it after the deadline, the board has the right to deny it.
Okay. And what this is this individual was late in submitting the paperwork. So that just says to me that it's late.
Deadline is December 1st. He filed it December 10th. And I have to have it to you guys by December 17th, I believe.
This is their certificate of occupancy. Oh,
This is to get money for junior college.
$500
yeah.
per semester, right?
Any questions about it?
Nope. Deadlines are fairly clear.
They've become a concern here lately. Yeah, so we need to sign this denying it. Then we have salary rate approval forms. And then we have minutes. For December 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that being said, we'll be at recess till 11. We have a public hearing.